My name is Furqan. I was an ordinary mechanic working in a small auto repair workshop in this noisy, selfish city. My hands were always blackened with grease and engine oil, but my heart was clean. I was an orphan. I had no one in this world to call my own. I slept in a small storeroom behind the workshop and spent my days fighting with rusty engines just to earn 2 meals a day. There were no colors in my life, no dreams, only one rhythm: work, work, and more work. Then one day, a ray of light entered my colorless life. Sabiha. Every morning, she would slowly pass by our workshop, tapping her white cane gently on the road. She was blind. She had lost her eyesight in an accident during childhood. Nearby, there was a center for the blind where she was learning to make flower garlands. Whenever she passed, the sound of her footsteps and the tapping of her cane felt like sweet music in my ears. I would secretly steal glances at her while pretending to work. There was such innocence and calm on her face, as if she was untouched by all the evils of this world. Her long, thick hair swayed with the breeze, and a soft, lively smile always rested on her lips. I fell in love with her. A silent, one-sided love, one I never had the courage to confess. Who was I? A poor, uneducated mechanic. And she, though she could not see, was like an angel. A soul so pure that hands stained with grease like mine could never reach her. I was content just watching her from afar. I prayed for her every day. "Oh Allah, always keep this innocent soul happy. Never let sorrow touch her life." One day it was raining heavily. Sabiha was walking as usual with the support of her cane when suddenly a speeding car passed dangerously close to her, splashing a large amount of mud onto her white clothes. She froze in fear. The driver did not even stop. Seeing this, I immediately ran toward her. Are you all right?" I asked nervously. She turned her face toward my voice. "Yes, I'm fine. My clothes just got dirty." There was so much sweetness in her voice that my heart forgot to beat for a moment. "Please come inside the workshop and stand under the roof," I said, gathering courage. "When the rain stops, you can go." She hesitated for a moment, then agreed. I gently guided her to a clean corner of the workshop and seated her on a stool. I gave her some water to drink. That was our first meeting, the first time I was so close to her. "Do you work here?" she asked. "Yes, I'm a mechanic," I replied. "You have a very kind voice," she said with a smile. "There's a lot of compassion in it." That one sentence filled my colorless heart with thousands of colors. From that day on, it became our routine. She would stop by the workshop every day while coming and going, and we would talk for a while. She told me about her world, the world of flowers, fragrances, and sounds. I told her about mine, the world of machines, engines, and blackened hands. We were unknowingly completing each other's incomplete worlds. With each passing day, my love for her grew deeper. But alongside this happiness, there was a dark shadow within me, a black, painful past that I had buried deep in the grave of my heart. A sin whose fire I had been silently burning in for years. This was 5 years ago. At that time, I was an 18-year-old reckless, careless boy, a spoiled son of a wealthy father. My father owned a large spare parts business. I spent my days roaming around with friends, racing bikes. One evening, I was racing bikes with my friends. My speed was extremely high. At a blind turn, I lost control, and my bike mounted the footpath and crashed into a small schoolgirl wearing a uniform. She fell to the ground. Blood was flowing from her head. People gathered around. I panicked. I thought if I got caught, my entire life would be ruined. Without thinking for even a second, I picked up my bike and ran away. I didn't even look back to see what had happened to that child, whether she survived or not. A few days after that accident, my father's business collapsed. We were left on the streets. Soon after, my father also passed away. I was left completely alone. That was when I realized this was the effect of that innocent child's cry. I had committed a sin, and I was being punished for it. I burned in the fire of regret. I tried desperately to find that child, but I never succeeded. I abandoned my life of recklessness and became an anonymous mechanic in this workshop, trying to atone for my sins. I hid this truth even from Sabiha. How could I tell her? How could I tell her that the man she loved was a sinner, a fugitive who had run away? I lived in constant fear that if she ever found out the truth, she would hate me. I did not know that this truth would one day come crashing down like a terrifying storm, destroying both her world and mine. My relationship with Sabiha grew stronger with time. Our worlds were different, but our hearts beat together. She did not see me with her eyes, but with her heart. She loved me not for my blackened hands, but for my pure intentions. She used to say, "Furqan, when you speak, I feel like I can see everything. Your words are my eyes." Her words gave my life a new purpose. I wanted to live only for her. I wanted to give her every happiness in this world, and her greatest happiness was her eyesight. One day she told me, "Furqan, the doctors say my eyes can be operated on. If a cornea donor is found, I might be able to see again." A flame of hope ignited in my heart. I wanted to make Sabiha capable of seeing. I wanted her to see this world, its colors, and most of all, me. That very day, I swore that I would work so hard and earn so much money that I would get her operation done. I stopped distinguishing between day and night. I worked 20 hours a day at the workshop. At night, I also started loading goods onto trucks. I saved every single penny. My health began to deteriorate, but I didn't care. There was only one dream in my eyes, the dream of light returning to Sabiha's eyes. She tried to stop me. "Furqan, don't be so cruel to yourself. I'm happy even without my sight. Your presence is my light." "No, Sabiha," I would say. "I want you to see every beauty of this world. I want you to see the sun, the moon, the flowers, and me." My voice always trembled while saying those last words. 2 years passed. Through relentless effort, I finally saved enough money for Sabiha's operation. We went to the city's biggest eye hospital. The doctors examined her and said the operation was possible, but very risky. The biggest challenge was finding a cornea donor. The waiting list at the eye bank was long. We were losing hope. Then a miracle happened. We received a call from the hospital. A donor had been found. A young man had passed away in an accident, and his family had decided to donate his eyes. The doctors asked us to bring Sabiha to the hospital immediately. The operation would be done the next morning. We both cried, but these were tears of happiness. We thanked Allah endlessly. At last, our dream was about to come true. Yet, hidden deep in my heart was a strange fear. Sabiha would see. She would see me. Would she still love me after seeing a poor, dirty mechanic? Would my appearance shatter the beautiful image my voice had created in her heart? And deeper than that fear was my sin. Years ago, I had taken away an innocent child's eyesight, and today I was about to bring light into someone's eyes. What kind of game was this fate playing? Was this the acceptance of my repentance, or the beginning of a new test? I prayed to Allah to make Sabiha's operation successful and to give me the courage to tell her the truth. I had decided, on the day she opened her eyes, I would confess everything, even if she ended up hating me. The day of the operation arrived. Sabiha was nervous but hopeful. "Furqan, I'm scared," she said, holding my hand before entering the operation theater. "Don't be afraid," I said, kissing her hand. "I'm right here. When you open your eyes, you'll see me first." The operation lasted several hours. "Congratulations, Mr. Furqan. The operation was successful. We've bandaged her eyes. In a week, when we remove the bandages, she will be able to see, God willing." I fell into prostration, crying and thanking Allah. Years of hard work and prayers had been accepted. For the next week, I took care of Sabiha day and night. I fed her with my own hands, told her stories. She was happy like a child. She would ask, "What will I see first when my bandages are removed? What does the sky look like? What do flowers look like? And what do you look like?" I would smile, but her last question pierced my heart every time. Finally, the day arrived. The doctor called us into his room. Sabiha walked slowly, holding my hand. Excitement and fear were written all over her face. "Ready, Sabiha?" the doctor asked. She squeezed my hand tightly and nodded. The doctor slowly began removing the bandages. Every second felt like my breath was stopping. As the final layer came off, Sabiha gently blinked her eyes. The light stung. She closed her eyes for a moment, then opened them again. "Light," she whispered. She looked at the doctor, then the walls, then the sky outside the window. Her eyes were filled with wonder, like a child seeing magic for the first time. Then her gaze fell on me. She kept staring at me in silence. No smile, no amazement, just a deep, unsettling stillness. Tears rolled down her cheeks. She slowly withdrew her hand from mine. "Tum," she whispered. "Yes, Sabiha. It's me, Furqan," I said in a trembling voice. She shook her head. "You're not Furqan. You're the boy on the bike." Her eyes were fixed not on my face but on a small scar on my forehead. "You're the one who hit me 5 years ago," she cried. "Because of you, I lost my eyesight. I saw this scar before I fainted. I never forgot it." The ground slipped from beneath my feet. I collapsed to my knees. The man who had tried to bring light into her life was the same man who had taken it away. The love I thought was pure was built upon my own sin. The room fell into a grave-like silence. Sabiha broke down completely. Overwhelmed by shock and pain, she began to panic. Doctors and nurses rushed to calm her and gave her medication so she could rest. I sat on the cold hospital floor, watching everything fall apart. I had tried to give her light, but instead I had pushed her soul into a darkness from which there might be no return. This was the hell of repentance I was destined to live in for the rest of my life.